5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Probably live right now. I can't really tell because there's a delay, but I believe I'm live on Facebook. Usually you get a notification. There it goes. The phone went off. It's vibrating in the pocket. Now we're live. All the wires are connected, connecting Zoom to Facebook, to the interwebs, to Menlo Park, California, to 101 East Carey Street in beautiful downtown Richmond, Virginia. And without further ado, today's conversation with clients is the lovely, talented, vivacious, energetic, enthusiastic, and big-hearted Mindy Conklin.
Thank you, Dave. I'm looking around going, who is he talking about? I'm not quite sure who's
You got it. I even got my sound. See, since you can't hear the applause coming live through Facebook right now, I have the sound machine. I have been instructed by colleagues, do not press this button because that's very rude. I'm trying not to press that one. I'll press only the good buttons because you're on the call today.
Thank you.
Mindy, how are you? It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I love chatting with you, Dave. It's fun.
I love chatting with you, and I hope that we get to do this soon in person, post-pandemic, so I can run up and do the inappropriate thing just by giving you a big old hug.
I'll take it.
But until then, we have to socially distance and physically distance. You're coming live to us from Midlothian today?
That is correct. Yep, Brandermill. Love.
Brandermill. There you go. Greater Midlothian, as we would call it. Yeah. Welcome to you, Mindy, and also welcome to the folks that are on here with Conversations with Clients, or as we like to abbreviate everything, Convos with Clients. This is episode number 5, and cool. We couldn't wait to have you on. For those of you watching on Facebook Live, Mindy is the executive director of HCB2, which is Hitting Cancer Below the Belt. Mindy, tell us a little bit about your organization, and then we'll get into some other things.
Yeah, we just love to give cancer a black eye, you know? So we're hitting below the belt, hitting below the belt for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I have my glass right here with the, hey, we're both drinking out of the HCB2 glasses today, drinking water.
Yeah, and you turned me on to this company too. So I love the company as well. Yeah, company. Yeah, we're a colon health cancer prevention organization, and we strive to create environments where cancer is challenged to survive, and we do that through education and through services as well. We serve, we're based in Richmond. We serve the Richmond community, surrounding counties, and we're getting more requests for some support all over the state. So it looks like, well, pre-COVID, we were expanding across the state as well. So that's exciting, very exciting.
Yeah, and we worked with you for a couple of years. And one of the things is that our connection came about not through traditional means. And you have a very personal connection to colon cancer. Mm-hmm. Did you want to share that before I share my story with you?
Yeah, it's unfortunately, it's a very similar story. A lot of us share the same story. I was married for 20 years, raised 2 children, and they're 26 and 28 now. But at age 17 and 19, they lost their father to colon cancer at age 43. He was diagnosed at 41 and he passed at 43. We were extremely lucky to have 20 years together, and he passed in 2011. He's a baby out of 7 children, so a lot of brothers and sisters. No family history. Brothers and sisters are still fine, thank God. No symptoms that I knew of. I don't have a family history of cancer, so cancer to us was completely new. I got to be honest, when they said he had colon cancer, I wasn't even sure what the colon was. And we're still hearing that when we go out and do our education. Folks don't know that the colon, by the way, is the large intestine. But it's okay. I didn't know what that was either. And it's just such a confusing disease. So yeah, that's a little bit of my personal story.
Right. And you started the organization really primarily to raise awareness about that, right? Or raise awareness about colon cancer. The connection there with Roger, your husband, teaching at Manchester High School, walks up to my son a couple of years ago and says, Jack, we're having a fundraiser for colon cancer. It's a bowl-a-thon, whatever. You'd be the perfect guy to help us with this.
Yeah.
And Jack says, oh, that's funny that you would ask me because my dad was diagnosed with colon cancer and just went through a procedure last week. Mm-hmm. The connection there, and Roger didn't know that about me before he had approached Jack. I didn't understand the organization and that Roger was involved in it. And then they kind of came together and it was the right time too. But one of the things I'll never forget is the fact that before we started a working relationship here at my house, there was a basket that showed up and it showed up on the front porch right after that. And it had all kinds of good, healthy stuff in it. And I was like, wow, these folks don't even know me, but they've brought by a basket full of stuff and some great advice on how to eat right and live right and make sure that the colon cancer doesn't return. That's part of what you guys do too, right? Tell me about the baskets you give to when you find out someone's recently diagnosed with colon cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. Our first initiative was Eat Clean, Get Screened. So there's a whole Get Screened side, but you're talking about the Eat Clean side. And we started this service, the Healing Belly Basket service. It's a free service for all, and now it's open to all cancer patients and survivors, because I got to be honest with you, Dave, we were getting requests from folks that had breast cancer or ovarian cancer, and there was no way we could turn these folks away. Right. So we opened the service for all cancer patients and survivors who are serious and that want to know about gut health and the importance of gut health and what's tied to the immune system. We know that when cancer patients go through treatment, that the first thing that's really altered is their gut integrity. So, and at the same time, they might not be able to keep anything down or pass everything appropriately. They might not even have an appetite whatsoever, lose their sense of taste. So what we've done, thanks to Dr. Melissa Hurt, she's a clinical restorative nutritionist. So it's not like Mindy and the crew went out on Google and to find these items. We actually have a clinical restorative nutritionist guiding everything that we're doing in regards to nutrition. So what we've done is we've created this basket filled with gut-friendly, nutrient-dense, easy-to-absorb items that you can find in your local grocery store, such as coconut oil, pink salt as opposed to the normal table salt or Celtic salt, which is more grayish. Ginger root, garlic, onions, all that they have really good sulfur that help pull out metals and toxins. Bone broth, so good because it's easy to digest and it's full of protein, which is what a cancer patient and survivor needs. There is a probiotic in there. Right. All kinds of items such as those things that you can actually find in the grocery store that can help heal and seal the gut lining.
One of the things is it was really nice getting the basket. That was really great. And I don't even know if I ever thanked you for it because we started conversations right after that and trying to help you guys raise awareness. But something you mentioned off the bat, not knowing what colon cancer is, not knowing people understanding that the colon is the large intestine, not understanding that the second leading cause or the second leading cancer related death in the United States of America is among men and women is colorectal cancer, but we don't talk about it, right? Right. And that is, I think, the number one thing that you guys want to do. You want to do this in a brash, I would say, fun, in your face, kind of way that says, look, we cannot be ignored anymore. It's the second leading cause of cancer-related death in the United States. So let's talk about it, right? Right. Tell me about some of the things that you guys have been able to do over the last couple of years that have really pushed this and awareness of this horrible cancer. Yeah, that's that area of HCB2 is growing. That educational piece is growing considerably. There is such a silence, just as you said, silence is wrapped around this disease. People whisper this. What kind of cancer does he have? And they'll whisper colon cancer. They don't, I mean, if it's any other cancer, they usually have a megaphone and they'll state it. At the same time, the symptoms can be silent. So it can be ignored or just kind of pushed aside like not a big deal.
So there was a huge amount of silence around this disease. So a lot of the requests that come in have to do with our inflatable colon. We have a huge walk through inflatable colon. And actually in 2019, we traveled over 1,000 miles across the state because people were requesting the inflatable colon along with our presentations. So
quite honestly, you got to admit, who
yeah.
wouldn't want a giant inflatable colon at their party? I mean,
It's fantastic. And we actually use it at the 5K. People run through it. So it shows up almost everywhere that we go, it shows up. It can be placed inside or outside.
I know, I love it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And then we also have presentations. We have 3 different topics that we can present on. We had to cancel a lot of our March is colorectal cancer awareness month, and we had to cancel a lot of our appearances in March, but they're rescheduling for September, and I'm hoping that we can go ahead and do those presentations as well.
I know that events have been key to spreading awareness about that, and one of the things that I've been very, very, very happy to see is over the last few years is that things like your Blue Gene Bash, GENE Bash has grown.
Yeah.
The strikeout cancer events where you bring kids from various high schools to compete at Uptown Alley and the bowling alley and to kind of get a friendly competition going for the fundraiser, that's grown. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite, the 5K, yeah. The Boxer Brief 5K, where we encourage people to show up in their underwear, and run a 5K, the Run to Save Buns. So tell me about that historically, and then tell me about the 5K, how that changed this year.
Yeah, that was our first event. We started in 2013, and that was our first event, the Boxer Brief 5K. So we just had our 8th annual Boxer Brief 5K, but due to COVID, and thanks to Madison+Main's crew, they helped us change the title a little bit, and it was called the Boxer Brief Stay Away 5K. And so it was all virtual. It's completely virtual. We had 22 states involved. We had close to 400 participants, which I thought was pretty cool for virtual. We had 3 people from Canada involved, and all these folks got mailed their t-shirts, their race bibs. They got mailed yard signs. So we had yard signs up in Tampa, Florida, and Chicago, and Canada. It was really cool. And then we had a landing page, a Facebook landing page, where people could share their results and pictures and videos and that sort of thing. So it was neat because we could actually bring colorectal cancer awareness, raise that level of conversation in neighborhoods all over the country. So that was kind of a new concept, and we're going to keep that in 2021. We'll keep that as an option if they want to go virtual, but hopefully we'll be able to actually have something here on site in Richmond.
That's awesome. And one of the things about COVID, a lot of nonprofits have had a hard time because many of them, like HCB2, are really reliant upon events and things like that. Mm-hmm. The fact that you're able to do the event, take it virtual, and then expand it, not just to people running over at Stony Point Mall, but actually have people in other states and even 3, as you mentioned, from another country running in the event. That must have been very gratifying too.
It was very gratifying because we were in March and early April, we were literally stuck. Do we cancel? Do we reschedule? Do we have it? Because it's not till June. But actually, Governor Northam did us a favor by shutting us down. I mean, I think he was one of the first governors, right, that kind of shut us down till June 10th. And we knew that, I think, like in April. That made the decision easy. I mean, obviously, we could not gather June 6th. That was obvious, just to stay, on target with the state regulations. So then we had a choice. We go virtual or reschedule. And we don't want to reschedule. Everybody, it's our 8th year. Everybody knows it's the second week after Memorial Day weekend. So you know what I love about you, Mindy? You're even taking something like the shutdown to June 10th and turning it positive. You are the first person I've known in months to say anything positive about this shutdown, and leave it to you to say that. That's awesome. That's one of the reasons why we love you. The moving forward. So there's a couple of things in terms of awareness that I wanted to get to here. Also, just to let you know, behind the scenes, as you know, the other folks may not know, but
our crack staff is socially distanced here, including Mr. Brockwell, Kent Brockwell, communications director, who is working hard behind my beautiful lights to make me, and he did my makeup and everything today too. It's really, really fascinating. And then there's also Derek Fair. Derek Fair is always there taking your questions and putting links in there too. I think on this one, I want to give a link to HCB2 so people can find out some more information about your organization and get involved. Right now, how can they get involved that makes sense to you? Let's say that you have a chance to talk to some people and they say, well, I'd like to help, you know. Is there an event you want to get them to go to? Is there a website? Is there a way that they can support you guys through funding or through volunteering?
Yeah.
Give me the breakdown.
Well, first of all, the number one thing we always say, if they want to get involved, have the conversation at home with your family members, you know, because if you want to get involved, you've got to be able to talk about this disease. Are you getting screened? Are your parents getting screened? Are you going to the bathroom every day? Or do you have GI symptoms or distress? Literally break the ice and start the conversation. Anybody can do that. And to me, then you're part of our crew. If you can do that, you're part of the HCB2 crew. Secondly, we have 3 events a year. So yeah, if anybody's really interested in working with the millennial population or the high school age population, we can help you get involved in that event committee. If you're interested in throwing a party, then that's the Blue Jean Bash. We have a lot of work to do for the Blue Jean Bash coming up in November 5th. So could always use help there. If you like running, if you're a runner and you just want to help out for the 5K, definitely need people on the committee, need volunteers for all these 3 days as well too. If you just feel like this is a cause that's near and dear to your heart, you can certainly you could donate or just contact me and let's talk. You know, maybe there's a need out there that we don't see. We always need more eyes and ears in the community about what's going on out there. This is why we're here, is to meet those needs in regards to colon health and cancer prevention. Right. So my email address is mconklin@hcb2.org. So they can always email me.
Direct access, they can send you something direct. So it's not like your people get in touch with my people and then there's an info thing and whatever. So how many people at HCB2 and the big giant organization?
Yeah, this is such a great question. All right, so it's myself and we have a program director, Renee Malone, who's fantastic. She came from the American Cancer Society. So we're totally blessed to have her join us. And then of course we have an accountant and a web designer and that sort of thing. And then we have a board membership of 12 folks. And obviously their professions range from financial advisors to GI nurses to GI docs, that sort of thing. And then we have in 2019, because of all the education and the services that we're providing, and we like to refer out, I kept referring to certain acupuncturists and referring to a certain breathwork professional and a certain functional medicine doctor that, and an oncology coach, that we brought them all together. And now we have an advisory council as well that we meet twice a year. They're fantastic. And they're all local professionals that are holistic minded, if you will. And I'm constantly contacting them for advice or some suggestions, and they're doing the same thing. I'm referring to them and they're also giving us some feedback as well. So we have a big advisory council of about 10 members, 12 board members who roll up their sleeves and work, and then myself and Renee, and then of course everyone needs a good accountant and a good web designer. So
the important thing there is that the organization does a lot of work, but runs very lean and mean, right? So the idea is if you contributed to HCB2, the vast majority of your dollars are going straight into helping create awareness around colorectal cancer, education programs, the basket program, and then running the events. Right there in terms of the events, if you take the 3 events and stack them up, that's a big, I imagine, chunk of your operating revenue. In the face of COVID, we were able to pivot on the 5K and the Run to Save Buns and change that to the Stay Away 5K. As we move towards November and the other events, hopefully we'll be back to normal, but tell me about some of the challenges and some of the successes that you've had in terms of pivoting, right, during COVID to change the organization to make sure that, funding still stays strong.
Well, the first thing we had to do is tighten up everything regarding IT and technology. I mean, I went ahead and bought a Zoom account because I need access to, you know, more time and more people available on those types of Zoom calls. We don't have a lot of overhead, as you said, you know, because we all work from home, if you will. So we're going to be fine. And we did apply for PPP, so that's helping with salaries and whatnot. The services have had to pivot a little bit. And one thing that I didn't tell you, and maybe you might not know, that we fund 5 free clinics. They're colorectal cancer screening programs. We fund those. We've created those programs and fund those programs. So folks that are underserved and uninsured that go to the free clinics are able to receive a free in-home colorectal cancer screening kit and are tested at those locations. So that's a whole nother aspect. Like that program works if you actually walk into a clinic. Now with COVID, we have the opportunity to mail those kits. We can mail them and they can mail them back. So that's another way that we've kind of pivoted. In regards to events, most likely the November Blue Jean Bash is going to be online. It's going to be an online silent auction, and it might be a little bit of a live auction too. We're feeling that out right now. We have a great auctioneer. Remember Ernie from last year? He's willing to come back, putting him on such of a IT technology like this and have him do his thing for about a half hour with a few of the items and make it live. So we're kind of playing around with those ideas as well too. But in regards to COVID, we're still delivering healing belly baskets. We're still funding the free clinics and their colorectal cancer screening programs. I really miss the traveling with the inflatable colon and just doing community and corporate and civic presentations. I miss that, honestly. So that is being rescheduled. Yeah.
So some of the events and stuff have had to change. You had to pivot. Funding is still important, obviously, to do that sort of thing. But you've been able to deliver pretty much 90, 100% of services that you were delivering pre-COVID?
90%. Yeah, 90%, I would say safely. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. I know that it's important, even though we've had, a 3 to 4 month kind of period where things have just kind of eventually stopped. We understand that health concerns don't, and other things other than COVID, for example, like colorectal cancer and colorectal screenings are vitally important. We're hearing that regardless of what kind of medical service that you're looking at, there's an enormous amount of backlog. And so I think that says more than ever, you need to go screen. Okay. So for myself, having a history of it in the family, but not actually understanding that history until after 50, until after I had really reinforced with me that no one in my family, no one in my circle, no one in my community or friends was talking about colorectal cancer. And I had heard peripherally, you need to get checked when you're 50.
Right.
For me, I probably should have been checked at 40. Right.
Yeah, age is interesting. And just to clarify also, African Americans need to begin routine screening at age 45, and their insurance will pay for that. So it's African Americans begin at 45 and then everybody else at 50. However, the American Cancer Society has even dropped their guidelines to everybody 45, but the insurance companies haven't caught up yet.
Let me repeat that too, because I want everybody to know, because I think one of the biggest misconceptions is you have to wait till 50 to get your first screening. You should have a colonoscopy now by the age of 45, regardless.
I think you should be talking with your medical provider after the age of 40 and be proactive and make sure you know your family history and remind your provider about that. Remind your provider or tell your provider for the first time ever if you're having consistent GI issues.
Right.
Because to me, it's not about age. It's about what kind of symptoms do you have? Do you have a family history? And providers should be able to take all that in. My son had his first colonoscopy at age 18. His dad was passing of colorectal cancer and he was having GI issues. I had a great doctor that said, we're not fooling around. Bring him in. He gets a colonoscopy.
One of the things about this, and I'll give a shout out here to Partner MD. I've been with Partner MD for a few years. And one of the things that I was really excited about them and making a switch before I turned 50, up until that age of 49, when I got with Partner MD, health for me had always been reactive. I have a fever, I go to the doctor. If I break a bone, I go to the orthopedic, right? With them, it seemed like things were much more proactive. at 49, we're going to do a screening. At 50, we want you to do these things. And I'm very thankful for that, because I may have waited. I might have been like, oh, whatever else, I'm not going to go unless there's a problem. I credit them with one of those things too, because at the age of 50, I had the total kind of soup to nuts kind of executive physical that I probably should have been having from a much more proactive standpoint years ahead of time. Mm-hmm. How important is that to be proactive about one's health? And then, we hear that phrase, ask your doctor, right? So should we ask our doctor about getting, about colorectal health, or should we tell them, hey, I want to talk to you about this?
We like to say remind your doctor, which means you must be doing it consistently when you first meet with your provider, constantly right. Remind your doctor. And this is not HCB2 saying this, this is research. The number one reason why people are not getting screened is because doctors are not recommending it. They're busy. They have not much time with you. You need to constantly remind your doctor about GI issues, family history. I haven't had this test yet. I'm kind of dragging my feet. Should I? About all screenings, about all the screenings, whether it's, prostate cancer screening for men and, mammograms, pap smears, all of the screening, not just colorectal cancer screening, is critically important. Being proactive is actually, to be honest with you, extremely important. I mean, you could save your life. We have many testimonials from folks that had to continue to remind their doctor about X, Y, and Z. Your health is your responsibility. It's not somebody else's. It's your responsibility.
I had the fortune of being in one of your PSAs a couple of years ago. You asked me as a colon cancer survivor to step in and say, and I think I have prided myself, Mindy, on keeping this mug behind the scenes, like for 32 years in this business. But you got me in front of the camera, and I think I said, it's not that big of a deal. So that was my only line that I've remembered to this day. But one, I didn't think twice. You said, hey, let's do it and whatever else. And then I'm going to have this ugly mug, and I don't know if you even wanted this ugly mug being the face of colorectal cancer in this market, but I did that. And the thing was, I received so many responses. Wow, Dave, I had no idea. Wow, I saw you on TV the other day. And that sort of stuff. I think getting around the stigma of talking about it, and then going the extra step and saying, we really need to have a conversation about this and we can't be afraid of that, is one of the exciting things about us working with you on putting this together. The fun way, hitting cancer below the belt, the run to save buns. I mean, there's all kinds of fun stuff that we've been able to frame this in. So people as young as 16, 17, 18 in high school that are doing the strikeout cancer events and the bowl-a-thon, to younger active families that are running in the 5K, or others that are coming to the Blue Jean Bash, we can all have a conversation, and it's not too early.
Right, exactly. And there's about 30% of the population that are still not getting screened, whether they're just dragging their feet, or there's all kinds of other barriers. They can't take off work. They don't have a transportation driver, that sort of thing. They don't have the insurance that they'll actually pay for it. So then that's the whole reason why we've done all this work with the free clinics and partnered with PolyMedco, because there's in-home screening methods as well. Obviously that's not a nice big old video and picture of your colon that a GI doctor wants, but it's a first step. If those folks aren't going to get screened, we've got another option for you. And so these are some conversations that we have as well too.
Let's say I've got something. Let's see if we can do this math-wise, because I'm not a math major. I was an English major. But let's say that John Q. Public is watching today and says, look, John says, you know what? I'm really moved by what Mindy says. I like Dave, and I like the fact that I'm going to make $100 donation in Dave's name to HCB2. That'd be nice, right? Break down that $100 and 100%.
Yeah.
Like how much, 7 cents of that goes to educating young people, whatever. Help me break that down a little bit in terms of that $100 donation. What are they getting for that? And how's that helping you with your mission?
Yeah, well, that actually pays for quite a lot. I mean, I can break it down. I mean, 100 is going to pay for 10 in-home colorectal cancer screening kits because they only cost us $10 to get. I mean, that's how beautiful is that, right?
That's awesome.
Right. And we don't just give them to the free clinics. We also partner with Henrico Health Department doing their flu shot clinic and assess everybody that walks in, all 800 people. And so they have insurance or don't have insurance, but they can get a free in-home screening kit. So anyways, 100 gets us 10. It also helps us record a podcast. We also record podcasts with functional medicine docs and survivors and cancer patients as well, to help get that information out. So that also helps pay for that. It helps pay for our travel and our cost to actually get to places across the state. $100 is going to pay for 2 healing belly baskets that we deliver to cancer patients and survivors. So breaking it down per cents, that's kind of a little bit difficult.
No, that's a great way to put it right there. So 10 kits, right? 2 baskets. $100 donation might help cover 10% of the cost of putting on a small event, for example, at a cocktail party, or it may help in another way. That's helpful, I think, because I think people want to understand that if I give X dollars, that how's that really literally going to help the community?
Yeah. And honestly, that's why we hired Renee about 3 or 4 years ago, our program director. She's all mission. Everything that she does is all mission and gathering data and reaching out to people and that sort of thing. And so that $100 also helps me do her job, because otherwise, I mean, we would be really, really stretched if we didn't have her. So yes, some of it does go to salary, but salary is mission driven. That's what we do since we don't have a building and AC and electricity to pay for. So.
I tell you, 30 minutes just fly by like that because it's fun talking to you, and I really appreciate the information. And I know the people watching Convos with clients today are lucky because they had a chance to meet you virtually through Zoom. As we finish up, give me some stuff here. Tell me what the web address is if people want to come and learn more about HCB2.
It's just the acronym. Yeah, Hitting Cancer Below the Belt. The acronym is HCB2, and that's our web address, hcb2.org.
All right. And when they're there, they can take a look. They can sign up for events. Okay. They can get involved with the organization.
Yes.
You guys are on Facebook.
Yes. Hitting Cancer Below the Belt, all spread out, is our Facebook.
We'll put that up on the link today as well. There's lots of other ways to connect and communicate. As you mentioned, the Blue Jean Bash, tentatively still on virtual. How are we going to do this?
Yeah, it's totally on. And we don't have it on the calendar yet, but it's November 5th. It will be on the calendar once I actually have a concrete description. November 5th, most likely virtual.
Okay. And they can email you there if they'd like to participate in that event as well, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Dave.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Hold on. I just want to let you know you did a really good job. And I clicked the right button. Hopefully a couple people will see this and be moved to donate. There we go. I got the other button in. That's very exciting there. Mindy, always a pleasure. I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you in person soon.
I hope to see you in Lynchburg. I want to swing by your place.
You got it. Well, exactly. That's the healthiest food for anybody, anywhere. 0 calorie. Absolutely. And if I'm down there, I'll buy you lunch. But say hi to Roger, say hi to the rest of the team, and thank you. We appreciate it from everybody here at Madison, Maine. You're a ray of sunshine, and we definitely do appreciate you, and we love working with you, and you are just a bright spot, and everybody here from top to bottom enjoys working on your stuff, so we certainly appreciate it. And thanks for taking some time today to talk with our folks.
Dave, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
You got it. We'll see you very soon. Thank you.